mostly with graphic 45 paper. It says Reminisce here, and I've just put a bunch of random fibers on it. It's got a tassel and a charm here, and then there's a pin and some bling. This is actually, the frame is a wedding place card from Michaels, and it's been embossed around the edges, and then these are just overlaid over the top. And then the lady, I've watercolored her to give her dress some color, and then this is just some stickles to make her ring stick up and stand out. And then here on this page, just some flourishes, bling, and some little fold-out cards that could be used for photographs. Mostly all of the pages and all of the tags in here are all glimmer misted and distressed around the edges. There's a little journaling tag, and then this is acrylic with clocks stamped on it, and then alcohol inked. And then this is made from Kodak photo paper, which I have stamped and distressed around the edges. And then I've taken my heat tool and I have heated these little spots you can see here that create a little bit of texture. Has been heated until the paper bubbled. And then this is some lace that's been glimmer misted. And then on the other side, there's a dragonfly. So we have that there, and there's just a little key and a flower that's been glimmer misted and has some little green on there. And then here I have just some lace and ribbon and some bling and just a bunch of random fibers on these tags. That's a close to my heart stamp, and then journaling on that, and then some stamps here. And that one's just kind of a plain one, says live. And then a postcard, road trip on the back. And then these ladies here have also been watercolored here and there to kind of make them stand out a bit. And stickles on her buttons and some glitter up there to kind of make her feathers stand out. And then here on this page, we have a tag with, I put a little charm of a key on there. And then around the edges here, you probably can't see very well, but it's been distressed around the edges with embossing powder to kind of make that stand out on the edges. And then we kind of have some lacy stuff with pearls on it. And then there, peeking out there is just another close to my heart stamp with a tag there. And then here we kind of have some fun braid with some beads on it and a dress form and just some girls and the hat. I actually cut the hat out and then put some micro beads on that to kind of give it, it's kind of sparkly with little, with red also, and some rhinestones and a rose. And then here, this is acrylic that's been embossed with a flourish and then some bling on it. This is a cricket cutout that has some pearls put on it. It's all glimmer misted. See that? And this is a close to my heart stamp. So it's picture perfect, and there's a clock. Magic moments. Oh, and then underneath here, all those ladies have been watercolored also, kind of make them stand out a bit. And then I put kind of a little thing on there to make her black button stand out a little bit. And then here it's all distressed on the edges with embossing powder. There's some braid there and a bird cage with a bird. The bird has some glitter, and it also has some stickles there to make that stand out. And then we have some journaling spots. We can write down. And then here, this is a frame, and then just some tags. And there, the little things. And a tag here that has some lace on it. And then here we have another frame with some bling on it, some fun little flower here. And then this lady, I had this idea that I could create her from, there was a bride and a groom in one of my Cricut cartridges, and I thought, well, I'd cut off the bride and the groom because they were holding hands, and then I actually replaced this arm, and it's the seams underneath the dress, so you can't tell that I've glued another arm on. But she's all shimmer misted and kind of has a little dewdrop there with some feathers, and then I've taken I cut it out a couple of times so that this was out of a different pattern, and then put that over the top with some pearls, and there's some bling here for the buttons and a ribbon, and then this is a little lace inset that I did for the skirt. And then here I've glued, this actually came as more of a flat piece, and I glued two together to make sort of a locket out of it. And alcohol ink that. And then this is acrylic. It's been embossed and then distressed around the edges, a little flower with a dewdrop in the middle and some pearls there. And then a clock that says time, and then I put some stuff there to make the middle stand up. If the shoe fits, wear it. And I have just some bling on the shoes, and then just some tags. Enjoy the journey. Put some pictures on there. You only live once, make it count. And then here, this is a lace panel that's been made into a pocket, and I have used just a coin, watercolored the ladies there, some lace on it, and there's another clock with some lace on it, and a journaling spot, and captured moments, glimmer misted. And then on this page, this has lace that's been glimmer misted to match, and the flower's also been glimmer misted. Got some lace on the edges here of that. And then this is kind of some metallic, sort of a braid with some rhinestones in it, and a little pearl brad with a flower. It's been glimmer misted with a feather. And then here, this is a Sizzix die that's been cut out, and then I've crackle painted with Tim Holtz, and then I've distressed the edges here to kind of give it sort of an aged look, and then put those brads there and another pattern behind it. And then we've got some pearls there and a couple of tags. And then here I have a frame that has been crackle painted with Tim Holtz, and then I actually used some glitter embossing powder and just kind of put that here and there where I wanted to, and then some bling as well. And then this is an acrylic sheet there to cover where the frame would go in there, and then some lace and braid. And then these flowers just have been glittered, and then a brad there. And then on the back side I have a frame that has that. I thought with the cover I ought to have the photo be covered up so that it would be protected. So, and that's actually distressed and glimmer misted, and it's actually a patterned paper, but the glimmer mist kind of faded it out a little bit different. And then this key has been crackle painted, and I added a brad there, and we put some bling on the bottom there. So that's it.